Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No one rhyme.
I actually
I remember. It's on? Is it on? Okay. So we just need a motion to open the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Member Umberto and made the motion. Member Allen seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting is opened. And we just want to do a roll call, which I don't have up on my screen at the moment, so I'll just do it from memory. Member Allen,
Present.
Member Boucher, present. Member Kelly,
Present.
HK.
I did the best I could. Member Hefnecker,
Present and.
Member Umberto,
Present.
Member Iannucci.
present.
And for our professionals tonight, we have our engineer, Dave Higgins.
Present.
And our counsel, Elizabeth Cassidy.
Present.
Okay. On the agenda is 123, 125 Elm Street. And I think we'll start with you, Dave, comments and so forth.
So, comments we had talked about these at the meeting 2 weeks ago, right? Comments? You haven't resubmitted any plans?
No, we will for the third.
Right, okay. Do you want to go through the comments or just as a refresher?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, go ahead. We'll put it on the agenda. I mean, on the minutes there, on the record.
So, as noted in the bulk table, the following variances are required. Motor vehicle shop within 200 feet of recreation area. Lot size, front yard setback, rear yard setback, increase of non-conforming bulk, which is under 200-64A and B, and storage of vehicles within any required yard. And number 2, the zoning code permits off-street parking to be located on a separate lot within 500 feet of the subject property with an easement. A copy of the easement document should be submitted for review. We still don't have that, correct?
I have received it, we will be submitting. Yes.
Okay. Number 3, it is unclear if the proposal is to consolidate lots into a single lot, if that would include tax lot 207-2-9. We talked about that at the last meeting. It includes 2 lots, but not lot number 9.
Correct, and I'll put a note in the plan statement.
Okay. Number 4, it appears that the proposed lease area does not include the entrance drive off of Elm Street. Will the applicant have legal access to the parking area with the lease line as shown?
The indication I have from the lease document I received, there's no issue with us using the entrance.
It is outside the lease area, right?
Yes.
Okay. Number 5, the plan now includes a 6-foot-high vinyl fence along the rear property line. It is also noted that the plan proposes the removal of the existing fence located within lands owned by the County of Orange, where the existing pavement extends beyond the subject property. We continue to recommend a landscaping plan should be provided as required by the code, and the applicant should review section 200-32 of the village code and provide required screening between the proposed parking and adjacent residential uses. The design engineer has indicated that space for landscaping is limited and would like to discuss options for landscaping and planning work, including the placement of planters around the building. And then I believe the applicant had met with the county, who said that they would like the existing fence to remain, I believe, right?
That's correct.
And we're also having insurance. Okay. And I think also we spoke about having a license from the county. Correct.
We're gonna maintain an encroachment heritage trail. I need to have a license or some sort of documentation.
Okay. Number 6, ADA accessible parking has been shown for the motor vehicle repair shop and for the frame garage. The second floor of the 4,000 square foot building is proposed for office use. Based upon section 1103 of the New York State Building Code, it appears that the second floor of the building may also need to be made accessible, which would involve an elevator. The applicant should confer with the building inspector to determine if the second floor is to be made accessible with a single designated space in front of the building meets these requirements. I know Jim had chimed in at the meeting and confirmed that yes, as shown, you would need an elevator based on the use of the space.
Correct, and our architectural plans that I just saw today are showing that.
Have the elevator on it, perfect, okay. Number 7, the erosion and sediment control plan proposes inlet protection measures for the catch basins located along Elm Street. Although the property lines appear to extend to the approximate center of the roadway, it is presumed that the road is part of the public way. Siltation fence has been provided on the plan to keep sediment off the roadway. Inlet protection should be removed from the roadway. Referral has been made to the Orange County Department of Planning for review under GML 239M. While the letter indicates this to be a local determination by the planning board, the County Department of Planning is requesting a number of items, including the full EAF referenced in the 239 referral, which I believe was a typo.
Which is a typo, yes.
Right, and the applicant should address the potential impacts from vehicular fluids, visual impacts, and the need for variances. And number 9, the board requested a rendering of the building to be provided by the applicant at the June 10th planning board meeting. I'm trying to remember, we had a rendering?
I just saw the rendering for the first time today. So again, we'll have, for this next submittal that we'll make for October, we actually received the landscape plan today. We received architectural plans today as well. We should have the renderings that match them tomorrow or the day after. We received the parking lease agreement. I think Louisa asked for disclosure forms for all 3 properties.
Yes, and I know I saw that too, and I'm having technical difficulties, so thank you for getting this disclosure, and I'll confirm that we have it.
Which of the
The third one is the Frontier property, is that what you're saying? That's what we wanted to make sure to confirm.
Whatever properties are involved in the application, so that's the 123, 125, those I definitely have,
Yeah.
and then, I just want to be clear, and I apologize, I'm struggling to connect with my internet here, failures of technology. The 20 Anderson Place is taken, that's off the application, that was on your original,
Correct.
on your original site plan.
Correct.
So I think we're
Then we
okay
have
there
everything, okay.
with the lease.
Good. I wanted to confirm.
We're trying to clean those up for various properties, so I appreciate you getting those into us.
Yep, so you have the disclosure forms that we need.
Yeah, I believe I do, I'll double check. I did see the 123 and 125.
So yeah, we received a bunch of materials which we'll submit before the deadline in anticipation of the October meeting. I think one of the goals tonight was to consider lead agency status for the board to take action on. I know there was other issues as related to the potential oils that could be spilling on the pavement. So we spoke with the current owner operator. They currently use an oil dry absorbent kit, and that's actually like the name of it. You can look it up. And they use this. It's the same material they use on thruway accidents. And when they receive these vehicles into the site, they're inspected as they did before. If there is any leakage, they address it on the spot. They do an inspection while the cars are parked as well. If there's any issues, they apply this underneath that vehicle. And, for the interim, they then repair it within the building or within the site to make sure that there's no further leakage. And it seems to be a pretty standard process for most oil body shops, is my understanding. So that's what I told, and this is what they've been doing since they've been in operation.
So I'd suggest then, like, you put that
Absolutely.
in writing
Yeah.
and say, this is our process. And
We can
this is
put that as a note on the plans, yeah. We can describe
And
the
that's what we
process.
follow.
It's not an issue.
I've never seen that before.
I mean,
Google it.
I've used stuff like that before, my own stuff, you throw it
Like
down.
the cat-
Yeah,
like
just
the
it's
cat
like
litter
kiddie
stuff,
litter,
yeah.
right, so, but I don't know if that qualifies, and we could ask, we'll figure it out, we'll find out. If that's,
Again,
Legitimate.
any fluids from cars sitting there need to be oil, water, oily water, whatever. I mean, it's so close, it's gonna find its way into the pond.
Well, I mean, I can tell you what they've been doing. The site has been.
No, I understand, Mike, what they've been doing, but,
Mike,
we
what was the process called
certainly
again?
don't want any more contamination anywhere.
What was the process?
It's oil dry. It's an oil dry absorbent kit. I think you can. I mean, I googled it myself today to confirm that it came right up.
Oil dry.
That's actually what it's called, oil dry.
Okay.
That's like the most popular one. My understanding is most of the oil dry shops in Kansas.
Okay, well, you're gonna answer all those questions in writing, so,
Of course, yes.
okay. hopefully in question and answer format. This way it follows very easily.
Just gonna
Yeah,
sprinkle it
I'll
on
relay
the,
the comment to the,
we're still, you don't have to do the parking lot.
and then I'll make a proper response.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oil dry, DRI, yeah,
Yeah, it's
Right.
DRI,
Yeah.
not Y, yeah.
yeah.
So we look into it with the.
Yeah.
And then we talked also, the only thing we didn't mention here, talked last time about the parking issue, what the code is. So are you guys planning to go to the village board?
I think the first approach for us, since we're gonna have to go to the ZBA next, is to add that to the ZBA application. And then see if the ZBA has the ability to work with us on some kind of variance or waiver for that portion of the code. If for some reason we hit a brick wall with the ZBA, then I think the next step would probably be with the village board. That was my thought.
I have no objection to that, path. They have to go to the ZBA anyway.
Right.
And we are doing a coordinated review. So right now, our role is to, and it's kind of just like the Islamic Center where they assumed the risk. We went all the way through the secret process. The applicant is assuming the risk that the ZBA is gonna give them what they're
Right,
asking for.
exactly.
If they don't, they have to change tax and maybe we have to do this. Just from my perspective, yes, I did get the disclosures. I did confirm with Terry that, we circulated for, intent to be lead agency. We have not received any, objections to our serving as lead agency. So at this point, the first thing to do, would be to, make a motion to assume lead agency. And then what we can go through this evening, since the applicant has some further submissions, I would like to just go through the part 2. So if there's anything else the board wishes the applicant to address, he can add it to his October submission. So, if I can have a motion to assume lead agency, please?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, member Kelly made the motion, second.
I'll second.
Member Umberto, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion
Okay,
passes.
and if you recall, the part 2 is a series of questions. There are one of two answers. No or small impact may occur. Moderate to large impact may occur. I have not gone through this, in this particular instance, I have not gone through and made any predetermination, so will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? It is a permitted use, so I would recommend no to small impact here. Any objections to that?
No impact?
No to small impact because it's a permitted use under our code. If it deviated from our code or was inconsistent with our code, it might be a moderate to large impact.
Well, there's an issue still with the parking? That's not according to code? Because according to code, the parking is supposed to be covered?
Well, they're gonna address that as part of their application, through the zoning process, yeah.
Okay, all right.
We're also going to address any needed variances being so close to the Heritage Trail, right?
And that question all comes in accordance with the no more than 5 cars for 5 days.
Correct, that's what they're talking about.
You have to add that to the ZBA.
Okay, and you're going to ZBA to get that more, I guess.
Or at least the 5. We'll figure out with that with the ZBA.
Okay.
The other thing, that just remember as part of your deliberations, I'm not trying to sway you here, is that, part of this use is already established as opposed to virgin land, undeveloped land.
Mm-hmm.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use, in land? I'd say right on the edge of moderate, because it is increasing the size of the facility. But again, you can address that, in your submissions.
I think it's certainly going to increase the use of the land, right? The last one was a limo on the one property, limo service, it was not allowed. So,
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
Well, it depends, it's up against a residential area. So it's on the same street, so it's up, that's probably the bigger consideration, why we're even talking about it.
Will the proposed have an impact, on critical environmental assessment area? The answer there is no, because, we don't have critical environmental assessment areas in Monroe. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
Well, with all the cars that are there right now, 60-some cars coming through a neighborhood, I'd say right now, it's a great impact that way.
6, will the proposed action cause an increase in use of energy and fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy options?
Say that again?
Yeah, read that again.
Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities, i.e. it causes an increase in the use of energy but doesn't provide for any sort of offset or reduction?
Guess I'll have to address that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's gonna be a more active business, so they're gonna be using more energy, that's for sure.
We also have an opportunity to revise the architectural things to be more in compliance with New York State energy.
So that would be your response.
Like their lighting on the inside and stuff like that, the exterior lighting and stuff, yeah.
Okay. 7, will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies? It's probably a small impact because this is not a water-intensive use. And then sewer, private wastewater, I would say the same thing. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
Well, you got the rail trail right there. So that would be included in that, I'm assuming, right? So yeah, it has potential to make impact. That's why you need the licensing as well from the county.
Will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? It's pretty much a cement site already.
Right.
10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? Again, it's already an existing paved site.
Right.
Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? I would say put moderate with respect to potential for oil. Okay, or moderate to large. Okay, so those are your questions. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moderate to large. So I'm assuming since you're already making a submission, you will add to your EAF and provide responses to that, and you don't want us to contact this at this moment. Okay. So the applicant is electing to expand upon their EAF with further submissions, which they're free to do so. So they'll incorporate responses to those couple of items. I will finalize the form when my computer actually wants to respond to me and file that. But I've dutifully taken minutes.
Yep, good. And I think those are the only actions we were taking tonight.
Correct.
Right, so, any questions from the board? Comments, anything? Okay, or from you guys?
My one question I would have is, I'm not sure if we will require public hearing for this, presumably. I'm just wondering if the timing is correct to maybe think about that as well, since we'll make a very complete submittal for the October meeting. It's always good to get input from the public sooner rather than later. So it's up to the board's discretion to take the time.
Yeah, I'd be more more concerned with moving forward, like hearing from the zoning board first, because they're gonna have to.
Well, again, their applications are subject to public hearing as well, so
That's what I'm saying.
They will get public hearing first. The zoning board, because we've declared a coordinated review, cannot take action. And Kelly, I spoke to Kelly, not in their attorney, they specifically sent them back to us to do our part, and they're not gonna touch it until we finish our secret review. Again, the risk is on the applicant, very similar to the process that the Islamic Center just went through. So the public will also have a chance to speak at the ZBA, and that will be noticed as well, because that application also requires public hearing.
Yeah. It's up to you. What do you guys think?
Just let the ZBA go first, have that public hearing, and then we can go after that.
But you're saying they don't want to do, they want us to go first, we have to go first.
They sent it to us.
Right.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have to have our public meeting first, according to what they do in a coordinated review. They're looking at the variances and so forth. They're gonna look to that and get the public's input from what they're
Right,
doing.
but they're not going to touch it until we finish our secret review, because they want our secret review as part of their, so until we adopt a negative declaration or a finding statement after an EAS.
Right, so we just expanded the EAF,
Right, so he has to make that submission.
right, which we don't have
Right.
yet.
So we're not in a position, what you can do, if you wish to solicit public comment, is make a motion for a public hearing for our October meeting, with the understanding that, any revised submissions, we're gonna hold it open so that the public can see if we need to, if there's new information, we can hold that public hearing.
Yeah, but I don't even think we didn't see the documents yet. We're gonna set up a public meeting.
So we anticipate receiving the next package, and upon receipt of the next package, assuming it is substantially complete.
Yeah, then we can set the public meeting,
at
yeah,
October for November.
right. Yep, that's what I think. It's up to you,
That's fine.
That's fine, we take the exception.
Yeah. Be good. Anything else from anybody? Liz or Dave?
No, I think we're, everything I need to do, yes.
Mike, anything from you guys? Nothing?
No, I think we're all set.
Okay. Excellent, thank you.
The other thing is, you can do that tomorrow, just do, part two, I appreciate that.
I'm gonna do my best to have it here. You might get it first.
I'll either take no, yes, no, yes. Just moderate, small.
Hey, photo.
You wanna take
Yeah,
a
I might,
picture of that?
I might as well.
Take a picture of that.
Just 'cause I have to get started on that. I don't have, a lot of time to do this.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Perfect.
Does that work?
It works for me. That's all I need. Thank you for your time tonight, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah, have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, I think we're gonna look at the application process, right?
You want the minutes first or applications first?
Oh, yeah, we have minutes here. Yeah, let's do the minutes first.
I only had one comment, I think it was on our regular meeting, the 20, Tara, I emailed you.
27, yeah.
On just the two resolutions, which you attached the full resolution at the back.
Yes.
Where it says motion to approve resolution, just say see attached, so that there's
Right.
reference in the minutes that there's something following, in case it ever gets separated.
I didn't say see attached on there?
Monroe
27?
9 or so.
Yeah.
Others you did, others was like see attached, and I was like, perfect. I was reading and I was like, wait, didn't we do a full resolution? And then I got to the end and I saw, so,
I know I had to see attached, probably not
You have
where you
9
wanted
Pearsall.
to see it.
9 Pearsall, keep going. Right, plan is reviewed, subject to conditions, see it, and then just after subject to conditions, I would put in parentheses, see attached resolution.
Oh, yeah, okay, so I have it
There.
up here, and you want it down here,
Yeah,
okay.
and then same thing,
Same
exact
thing
same
with the-
comment for,
I put it in the body with the Islamic Center, so you want it down by where the
Oh, it's in-
resolution is voted on. Huh?
Yeah, no, keep scrolling down.
See, I have revised documents attached, especially this permit and the draft resolution. There.
Oh, okay, then that's fine, I overlooked that, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's hidden in there somewhere, I sneak it in.
So long as it's in the bulk, if the attachments get separated, then we know that there's a document.
Right.
And I have no qualms with you doing it, it's actually easier for you.
Okay.
And just while I'm thinking about it, everybody needs those 4 credit hours for the year, but I don't think we do the calendar year. I think we did it from April to April because we're on the same, that's how we run our everything we do.
Yeah, well, if you, it doesn't matter when you start the year, so long as you do. And I can, usually Terry will get, emails, whether it's Orange County Department of Planning or.
Yeah, no, we get all those,
Yeah,
we get them all the time.
Because I did one, I did a 2-hour.
Well, ours are done, everybody's
Those
covered.
were the
Oh, okay.
internal, like sexual harassment ones and things like that.
Oh, yeah, no,
That doesn't count.
That done, yeah.
no, no, but I did, so we're good for this year? For
Yeah,
four?
because we had
Well,
Ted
we're
and
not good for
Elizabeth.
2024. We're
Not for
good
2024.
2023.
Oh, okay, 23, yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm doing, because I just did a 2-hour class.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You sent?
I'm waiting for the certificate.
Oh, okay, good. I made a little
It was one of those
spreadsheet, I'll
emails.
keep track.
It was about the batteries, the lithium-ion batteries.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And
Exciting
if I
stuff.
see something that comes across,
like stored energy.
there's others you can look at, NICOM sometimes does planning board training, the Orange County Planning Department does training,
Yeah, this one is the Rockland one. The Rockland.
so.
Yeah, we get more, most from those, from Rockland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I think it'd be great, you know, one of the things, just, do you guys all know how to read blueprints? When you get them and you look at them?
Yes.
Yeah,
Good? Okay.
so I don't have to, though.
No, you don't. No.
about surveys.
Yeah, what about surveys?
Survey maps, sure.
Okay, otherwise we could do maybe an in-house something, Dave could do that for us.
If you can find any blueprints, I'd be happy to bring them.
We have loads of them. We have loads of them.
I remember years ago actually making them in that little room with the, with some sort of ammonia solution, I forget.
Right.
Mimeographs, that's what they were, right?
It'd be like, you know, eyes would be tearing. Ammonia. The little fan that was because the wall didn't help or anything.
Yeah.
Nothing, just blew it in
It
your
just
eyes.
gave you an illusion that you were breathing.
That's right. Yeah.
Blew it in your eyes. That's all.
That's
Okay.
the only thing that got me through elementary school. What are you talking about? Smelling those papers.
Exactly. All right, so we need a motion to, well, we gotta find out who was not here for the 12th.
Paul was absent, 12?
Okay. So you can't vote on the 12th. So we need a motion to approve the August 12th, 2024 meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, member Allen, second.
I'll second it.
Member Iannucci, and all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Excellent. August 27th, Barbara, you were gone. So we need a motion to approve August 27th.
I'll make the motion.
Member Heffinecker, and second.
Second.
Member Kelly, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They carry, they're approved. September 9th, Keith was absent. So we need a motion to approve the September 9th.
I'll make the motion.
Member Heffinecker in a second,
Second.
and Member Kelly, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, they're approved. Okay, then, Elizabeth, you want to give, so we're trying to streamline a little bit of our applications, both the general application for projects as well as the historic district application. So Elizabeth,
So I'm gonna,
got comments from Dave.
I got comments from Dave, since we had a light agenda tonight, Terry has done a great job going through, we're trying to go through and make instructions more clear, for certain applicants. I won't, some applicants who struggle to provide basic information, and sometimes that's because they just don't know. So what I just passed out, and I actually have two sets, so we'll start with the first set. This is our main planning board application, and we've tried to be more clear on our instructions, what exactly is needed. This gives Terry a basis at a quick glance when she receives applications. Yes, it appears to be complete on its face, or no, it's incomplete, it's missing X. I have prepped, which I'm not circulating because it's fairly simple, a notice of rejection that when Terry gets something that's incomplete, she can say, dear applicant, your application is hereby returned to you because you're missing X.
Right.
You're missing your escrow fees, you're missing your application fees, you're missing your seeker form, whatever it may be, you're missing it, you're not getting on the agenda. So it's abundantly clear that this is why they're not on the agenda. I make some of this, or because I've had this fight a little bit, applicants should be the property owner, authorized tenant, or contract vendee. It should not, consultants such as lawyers, architects, or engineers should be listed under project contacts. Okay. All papers must be received by the submission deadline. If documents are not submitted by the deadline, the application will be scheduled for the following month. Incomplete applications will be returned to the applicant.
Hey, just Liz, what are these highlights? Are they important for the board to know? Land use
I think-
determination?
Terry, you had just
Oh,
highlighted.
those are just some things that I changed. That was
Okay.
never on there.
So there's nothing here, that's not highlighted for us to look at?
No, that's not
Okay.
to draw your attention.
That's all I wanna
just
know.
left it there for- And this is, I'm gonna clean this up, this is not in.
That's fine.
I have applicants must appear at a work session preceding the regular meeting date. Now, there may be situations where we specifically excuse an applicant, but we have had a number of situations where the applicant goes, I don't need to show up at the work session, and then they have missed Dave's comments, and they all of a sudden expect a resolution, and they're not gonna get it. So I wanna make that clear.
Yep.
The planning board reserves the right to limit the number of applications heard at a particular meeting as time permits. So if Terry gets 20 applications, we are not hearing 20 applications in one night. It's not physically possible.
That will be helpful too, I was saying to Liz, because people will start realizing that and they're gonna get their stuff in earlier, which makes Terry's job a whole lot easier, because they just all pour in on the day of.
And I can tell you in Goshen,
Yeah.
town of Goshen, they'll tell you, nope, I don't have room. She'll tell me us all the time, we don't have room.
And that's,
And you don't know when you're gonna be on, it could be the next month, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months.
right, yeah.
And same thing for public hearings, some of the busier municipalities will say, you already have 3 public hearings. Yours is, sorry,
Right.
you're on the next month.
Push back, yeah.
I have here a discussion of an agenda item will not commence after, 10 p.m. That is the mercy rule, baseball rule, whatever. it is.
Yes.
You don't start an inning after whatever. If there's 10 things on the agenda and it's at 10 o'clock, we're in item 8, 9 and 10 become items 1 and 2 at the next meeting.
Yep.
There's just, because we're not all here till midnight.
Yeah.
Mr. Umberto, here's just for you. Applicants will be provided written and oral comment. Applicants are to respond to such comments in writing by identifying the specific comment and response in a subsequent submission. Subsequent submissions must be made by the submission deadline.
Is this written down anywhere in this packet?
Sure, here.
What you're reading?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like that second page
Yep.
Right here.
on the back?
Top.
I think that's a good
No,
process.
it's standard operating procedure.
Yeah, absolutely,
Better for everyone.
Sure.
absolutely.
Okay. Going on to page 3, Terry has beautifully made this handy dandy application fee sheet. And you get to fill in what it is, and then you can add them all, and that's what we need. Okay, so she's spelled out everything, and then either she or the applicant, cost for this application, they can fill it in, they can do the math, and then at the bottom, she has total application fees, total escrow deposit, which is pretty, statement of the obvious. I can see if I can understand Ted is confused. Okay, moving on to page 5, applicant information. You'll see a couple of changes. One, we pretty much listed every type of application that can come in under our zoning code, whether it's site plan, subdivision, major, minor, all that fun thing, and actually this is special use. Okay, so they're supposed to check everything. So if it's a site plan, but also architectural review, they should check whatever's applicable, okay? All right. Property owner information, that's all the same. Project contacts, that's all the same. You'll see on page 8 is the project site located within. Those are my 239 questions. So that I can, if I see yeses, I know instantly it needs to go for 239. Now my favorite. Starting on page 9. This is the statement of, this is where I regurgitate the code. This is everything that's required on your site plan. Okay, and I've found this very successful in several municipalities that I've done work in or I've appeared in, where the applicant's professional, architect or engineer, has to go through and check, and then they have to sign that they have prepared the plans in accordance with this list.
I like it.
That saves us.
I like it.
So, there's no on the first meeting them coming to us and saying, and us saying, okay, go see, you know, whatever, it's,
It's gonna really be difficult for some people to do.
So who's gonna say an applicant's trying to fill this out?
what?
If an applicant's trying to fill this out, they got questions, who are they gonna call?
They're professional. If they have
They're
questions, if they have questions in this deep part, that means they need a professional.
Okay.
And if they don't have one, they need to get one.
So if somebody calls Perry and they say, I don't know how to. fill
Call your
this out,"
professional.
That's all she's gotta have to say.
That's it.
Okay, that's good. Make it
It's not our
easy.
job, but we don't, you know.
No, very good.
Okay, so this is copy and pasted with one small exception. The last, from your, it's 272I, which contains all the site plans. It's literally copied and pasted. The one exception is, and it's Dave's suggestion, which is excellent, and we're allowed to ask, the code specifically permits us to ask for whatever additional information we deem necessary to opine on the application. Demarcation of the proposed limit of disturbance and total acreage to be disturbed.
What page you on?
10, bottom of 10.
It's the last one all the way at the bottom.
Okay.
Now look, there's going to be some times where, you know, on some of these, somebody might write NA, not a lot of them, but, you know, existing structures, if it's vacant land, they're gonna write NA, because there's no existing structure, but there will be a reason for the NA, you know.
Right.
Okay, and like I said, the applicant has to sign and date it, okay? The forms have largely remained the same, owner's endorsement, consent of property owners. I do have to fix the spacing, so don't jump down at me for spacing issue. Property owners guarantee of fees. We're gonna start working, Terry and I are gonna, we don't have too many since a couple of years ago when Fiona was our clerk. We switched to the escrow as opposed to billing.
Right.
We still have a couple of stragglers, that we're gonna be working, I'm gonna be working with Terry to collect that, and if it's not, it will be leaned against the property. So this form's really important.
Yep.
Authorization to inspect, disclosure. I have tried to clarify this for lay people, because some people don't know the difference between persons and corporations or LLCs. If you're an individual, go to question 1. If you're a corporation, go to question 2. Trust, go to question 3.
So, Liz, what do we decide? Because like, if you have an LLC that's a partnership and you got a 50-50 partnership and one of them applies but doesn't put the name of the other,
What's title held in?
Well, that's not against us, because they're signing that this is a true and accurate representation. So let's say you have 50-50.
no, but are we, what I'm saying is, are we requiring then the other, you need the other?
I can trigger that if I see a 50-50%.
Yeah, do they put the percentage of what they own?
They have, if they're supposed to, percentage.
It says it percent interest.
Okay,
Okay.
I didn't see that, but, oh, there it is, okay.
Yeah, and the second
Got it,
one,
got it.
percentage of interest.
So now if I have questions, I can say, give me a corporate give me a
Right.
corporate resolution.
Right,
as
to show that.
Who's the initial disclosure, I want the information. A lot of the LLCs we have are 100%, you know, my LLC, I own 100% of my own LLC.
Right.
Just, we try to, because lots of times I've had a couple where somebody has written the same information in every single solitary box. Some people, again, just don't understand or just don't read.
Yes.
Okay?
They'll just sign and date.
Yeah,
Fill it out.
they'll sign a date and it'll be blank. If they change ownership during the application, they have to tell us. We've had a couple of those where they've played swapperoos.
Yeah, well, we've had problems finding like, who is the owner here?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, who is it?
And then there's also a
Every time
certification.
I ask that, bring your owner in, I'm tired of talking to you. David.
They don't know who they.
Technically, in owner, so in an LLC or because of the nature of these proceedings, an owner is authorized to authorize anybody,
Designate somebody, right.
designate anybody they want.
But you still have to know who the owner is.
You do.
They don't have to show up every day.
No, they don't have
But
to.
I have represented clients where my client never showed up.
And that's fine. I mean, they just have to say, they represent me.
Half the time,
Here it
I
is.
didn't want my clients showing up,
Right.
because I knew that.
Half the time, Fred doesn't want his clients showing up for anything. Even the first time.
Only with one, only with one.
And, also just be aware that, and then I didn't change this was in your original, I certify that I'm legally authorized to execute this application and affidavit and to bind the applicant to the disclosures herein. That lets us off, if somebody lies to us about their corporate
Right.
structure,
Yeah.
that's on them. You know, if, somebody's,
Yeah.
we're gonna turn around and say this, so we can reasonably rely on that. Now, if somebody comes in and says, no, he doesn't own it, we then can say, go prove it. But we can at least at the initial have a reasonable.
So each page doesn't need the notary's sign on that? Because if you separate these pages and somebody says, well, I didn't.
Well, but there's multiple notaries on here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I've identified pages 15 and 18, because I want or 1 through 18, I want all pages 1 through 18 on the application, so that I know it's all together. So if I'm missing pages, I'm gonna say I'm missing pages, please return.
Yeah.
Even if
Does it say in here that when you provide the application, you provide all pages of the application, even
I
if
can
they
do
don't apply?
that.
Yeah, that's important.
That's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea to have them all together, and
Yep.
there you go.
In the order they've been
Don't
given
use
to you.
Well, that's why if you look at the bottom, page 1 of 18, 2
Yes.
of 18,
Right.
3
Yes.
of 18.
Yes, right.
And I also incorporate, this is one document.
Yep.
It's one, so everything's embedded, so Terry's not worrying about, some planning boards will have this application,
Yep.
and then another document, this disclosure,
Yeah.
and they're all separate discrete documents.
Yep.
And this way Terry goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 18, okay, I've got all 18 pages, at least facially, it's complete.
Yeah.
And, unless they're all blank, if they're all
Yeah.
blank, Terry, please reject it. It's a
Yeah,
application.
even if there's a couple of NAs in there,
Yeah,
but you gotta answer every line.
yeah.
Right.
There's gotta be some more guts
Yes.
to it.
Good show.
So Terry did a lot of this, so I give her credit. The fee schedule,
Thank you
it's
again,
all-
Terry.
is all prettied up. So subject to those couple of changes we talked about, do you want me to go ahead and finalize this? Is everybody happy with this?
I think it's great. Yeah. I
I
think
think that's good, yeah.
Let's go with it and see if it works.
Okay,
We can change it as we go forward,
all right, so subject to
or
those,
add to it,
yeah, you can change this at any time.
or add to it.
which is also a change.
Did you say, Liz, that you didn't want the engineer to be the applicant?
I don't want the engineer.
Because we just got one today, so
Well,
this showing,
right, Joel Mann is not the applicant,
right, but
he's the
now
consultant.
there is also the form saying that he agrees to have Joel do the application for,
That's fine.
is that not?
Well, I need to clarify that. I'm gonna tweak that form slightly.
I
Because there's
would.
2 different,
Where's the,
I know what you're
You know what
talking
I'm
about.
talking about?
I know what you're talking about, owner's consent. Oh. I'm gonna add to this, there are occasions where a property owner may authorize, so for example, you have a tenant in your building, they need site plan approval, or they need some form of approval to build out their space. You would authorize your tenant to make the application, and your tenant would make the application at their expense. Right? Then there's the authorization authorizing the consultant. I will make that clarification in the.
yeah, because if the owner's
Owner's
endorsement, right, it says that they're gonna give Joel Mann, he's authorized to make the foregoing application. So would he be the applicant?
So
would we
look
have
on
to
page
change that?
6, though, it says right in here, if property owner is the same as applicant, check here. So that means that they don't have to be the same.
They don't, but it might be a tenant, okay? It might be a contract vendee. You've got somebody who's got, the burn facility is one, they're a contract vendee. And a lot of times, and I've done them, subject to this planning board granting such and such approval. So there are different, where the property owner is saying, yes, you can make this application and bind my property rights to that application.
Right.
There's a difference from, this is my authorized representative appearing on my behalf, right? So I want to make that clear, so I'll clarify that.
So we clarify that on the owner's endorsement.
Yeah, I can clarify that. But unless Mr. Mann owns that, okay, can you just go to the public application?
Oh, this is,
Is this gonna put a lot of work on you, Terry, or is it gonna make it easier?
What would happen, Elizabeth?
It's just that-
John Smith-
Well, I know, she's gonna be kicking a lot of stuff back, and is she gonna have to keep track of
No,
the stuff she
but if
keeps
she
back?
doesn't kick it back, it's more work if she's got it without the information.
No, but
That means you're going scrambling for
Who's
things.
the endorser?
Everybody, then there's conversation
Trying
goes
to
on
find
between all the
what they're
professionals.
missing.
And you're saying, we need this, then she's gotta go back and call again. So she just gets, she's the first line.
NA
Say,
or
nope, not here.
South.
We need all of that.
Okay, yeah, 'cause
Okay, well, the only thing is, because people aren't gonna like this.
No, no, but she doesn't make decisions on it. The only decision she makes is complete or incomplete.
Is it there or not there?
Right, and
Not
she,
substance.
okay,
Right. So she's not, it's not more work that way, it's less, because then if she doesn't get everything at once, then she's getting a dribble here, a piece there,
Yeah, and then you
and
gotta put it back
don't want
in.
that. You want it all coming in.
all right, and she doesn't have to worry about anybody until she has complete work, right?
Yes.
She doesn't have to worry about some guy who says, oh, wait, I'll be back in a couple of days, put me.
That's great, come
They
back in
don't
a
get
couple
on the
days
agenda,
with your
they
whole
won't-
packet, here's the other piece back.
Right?
All right,
Yeah.
all right, good, so
Yeah.
she can refuse whatever's not.
Yeah.
this isn't gonna be pretty when it's first done,
Only-
because
Yeah,
they always come very late, the last
It
day,
won't be
the
pretty
last
for
half
certain
an hour,
people.
And they're never,
Only if,
they're always missing something, or something is filled out wrong.
There's some people that just do a great job, and they always complete, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's some people that
'cause I know
don't
a lot
ever
of
do
times,
it.
like,
Yeah,
And then you got everybody in between.
and then there's people who have no idea, but
Right.
it explains everything.
Come on, yeah.
The toughest thing that we get is somebody that says, I don't really need a professional, and they probably don't, and they're trying to fill it all out and they don't know what to put.
Well, that was my,
That's the bigger
Well,
one.
that's great.
so,
so that was my question about page 9, it has to be sealed by a professional, right? According to page 9, these things have to be done by a professional.
site plans.
Obviously, right, yeah.
They need to be sealed by, at a minimum, they need to be sealed by a surveyor, so
Right,
like,
yeah.
even if it's
It
your
was so
surveyor
bad.
doing it,
It got-
I didn't even know that.
Oh, it was a disaster.
You need a site plan.
you need
She
a
sat me
site
on this
plan.
book.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Fill
remember the
everything
lady
out.
with
It can't be a sketch on a,
Unless,
that would be,
That would be
that
her.
would be one of the
That'd be a
ones,
good
right?
example. Yeah.
I do have one clarification, because it just occurred to me as I'm reviewing it, and I'm glad we're talking this all out. There's two different forms in this package, and I think what the easy answer, looking at this again, there's the owner's endorsement, and I'm gonna put under the heading, complete only if non-owner applicant, tenant, contract, ND, because that's where you're saying I'm authorizing. The owner's consent, which is the consent of property owners,
Has to be the owner.
is, no, the owners need to both authorize Joe, John
Right.
Doe to act as our agent with regard to this application.
Yeah, they have to
That's
sign
what
off
this
on
is.
that, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're just gonna clarify that the owner's endorsement is only if it is a non-owner applicant.
Right.
Right, so they can say, Joel Mann is gonna do the application for me, and then I
But-
get this,
Joel Mann, on the consent
As
of
the-
the property owners, right, authorize Joel Mann to act as my agent in regard to this
right, but
application.
Joe-
not be the applicant.
he
like
can't put it
You
right
can't-
there.
He's the applicant.
Right, it can't be that
Should
unless
not
he
be the
owns it.
applicant here.
Correct.
No.
Yeah.
And that's, did we clarify that? Like, in the statement, applicant,
That's in the instructions.
okay, I
It's
just wanna make
under
sure.
the list.
I thought I saw it, but I wasn't sure,
It's
because
under
we've
the
talked
list.
about it so many times.
Applicant should be property owner, an authorized tenant or contract vendee,
we'll make that must.
Yes.
Yeah, why don't we just write
Yeah,
that
must be.
parentheses in here
I
or something
prefer
like that?
must to should.
You know what I mean? Like, because if you're trying to go from one page to another, if it's right next to it and it says it right there, then how can you argue with that, right?
Agree.
I was thinking, put it right.
Put it right
Put it
next
right
to it,
there on
in
the
parentheses,
planning board
you know,
application.
what, you know, what it should be.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are some times, like Keith was just saying, the woman with the roof, when she had to come for the historical thing, she's like, she's trying to fill it out because she's like, why am I gonna get a professional? You don't need one.
Yeah.
She didn't. She
Right,
just
for
needed
that
to get,
group,
right?
right.
And-
But it was also a trust, it was her mom's. Linda, that woman?
Yes, Linda.
Yeah.
Complete
Right.
owner's endorsement.
Yeah, and we'll have these little tweaks along the way. You'll figure out as things start happening, go.
So then you can,
Clarify that.
on page 6, you can take out if property owner is same as applicant, check here, like you can take
No,
that property out.
She needs
No, I
to
can, I'm gonna leave that in, and
You
I'm
still
gonna
need
say, if not, complete owner's endorsement.
Right.
So if property owner is the same as applicant, it's like when you're buying something, you know, is the billing address the same as the mailing address?
Right.
You click check, so you don't have to fill it out again, that's the same thing here,
Yeah.
right? If not, complete the owner's endorsement as well.
And this would.
But aren't we requiring the owner to be the applicant?
No.
Not in
We're
all
not, okay.
circumstances.
Again, remember,
Right.
an applicant could be with permission of the owner, a tenant, right? They have a lease. It could be somebody that's buying the property in the future, subject to the approval. It might be a property manager, probably unlikely, but I'm not gonna say that those are the only three situations,
yeah.
those are the
But not
most
their
likely
engineer.
three situations.
They do now.
Okay.
But I think if I put that, if yes, stop, if no, complete owner's
Yeah,
endorsement.
okay.
Yeah.
There are a number of property managers in Monroe,
Oh, yeah.
a number of them.
Yeah. So there's any number of reasons. For example, you might have, a prime example is somebody's coming to us for sign approval in accordance with one of our sign districts. They're a tenant of the building. The owner's saying, I'm not paying for that. Here, I'll give you my permission, but you gotta go take care of it, you gotta cover
Yeah,
the fees, et cetera. The tenant would then be the applicant, subject to the owner's permission.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
So you'll just put some wording on there.
Yep, so I have those tweaks, but everybody's good with this, so I will finalize, get that done.
One question.
Sure.
Sorry. On
No,
page 9,
yeah,
you're listing, and maybe this is from the village code, I don't
it's
know
from
offhand,
the
but
code,
it talks about the size of the sheet being 24 by 36.
yeah.
Now, I know, like, if they're doing a subdivision, the county sets the maximum higher than that, you can have a larger sheet. And I'm sure that we have received larger sheets, I think the Muslim Islamic Center was larger than 24 by 36.
Do you want it?
As a, no,
Just trying to go.
yeah.
That,
And typically, when you're preparing the plans, sometimes it's harder to fit it on a 24 by 36 sheet. 42 by 30 is sometimes a lot easier, depending upon the size.
Right.
Most of what you're doing here in the village, honestly, is smaller scale properties.
Yeah.
They're usually not typically large. It's probably easier to review a smaller 24 by 36 than a 42 by 30, takes more space on your desk. So if the code says 24 by 36, I'm okay leaving it that way. It just,
but otherwise strike it.
otherwise, I would probably say maximum 42 by 30, and that's it, maximum.
Right.
Because
Then they
we've
can
also
decide what's
had-
gonna be the best.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
normally, like, if they can fit it on a smaller sheet, it's usually
But you
what
want
they do.
1 inch to 100 foot scale.
Won't it cost them cheap, won't it be cheaper for them to do it on a smaller sheet?
Your paperwork is on scale.
We've had little ones,
Well, that-
like 11 by
I
17.
mean, it's hard to
Usually
say, depends on how
surveys.
much information's gotta go on there.
It's usually a survey when
I
it's
think
that.
like some, was the one that said-
Oh, there was.
Somebody was a survey.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was probably 1 inch is equal to 86 feet or some crazy number, yeah.
So not a
It
standard.
was not a standard engineering scale, yeah.
You mean your scaler didn't work on that one?
Yeah, it was just kind of crazy.
You could just write scale it so we can see it.
Yeah, maybe less specific, so just
Can't read that.
readable.
Readable.
I think,
Not microprint,
Vowels.
not microprint.
I think the bigger issue too, and this is where Terry, you can facilitate, and this is something quite simple, we make our applicants submit a print set and as well submit a PDF. I think, I don't wanna speak for Dave, I'm reviewing all these plans on, computer screen, because then I can move around, I can blow it up, I can do whatever.
Yeah.
But it's gotta be a dynamic PDF file. Every once in a while I get a PDF, and not from you guys mostly, but I get them where it's clearly been a scan of a print, you know.
Right.
Somebody scanned a print and
You blow it up and you can't see anything.
You blow it up and it doesn't blow up.
Or it doesn't go to the right way, it goes way up into the corner and you get a corner of it.
David had a plan, you know, it was unreadable. I mean,
Right.
Which one was it, the State Road?
Oh.
It's like he took a map that was prepared at a scale of 2,000 and brought it down to a 20. The line was this thick.
Right. Okay, was a good catch there.
So the code calls out 24 by 36.
Sorry.
And that's okay. I mean, actually, it's easier to read. It's just harder for the person to prepare, because you're gonna need probably multiple views.
I was gonna say, so am I gonna be rejecting anything that's not on that size, because I get all different sizes of plans.
So, I say this is what we ideally want. Every once in a while, you're gonna get what I call the layperson that's doing something really teeny tiny, and, is there a fine line of what we need, to the extent of what we need. Technically, this is what they're supposed to be submitting.
But what we could do, Elizabeth, is we can mark these things down as we do them. We can submit them to the board, the village board, and say, look, one of your meetings, can you clean this up? You know what I mean? Here's the code. Could we?
Right. Look, I'm not a big fan of when somebody's like, here's an old survey, and I've taken my ruler and drawn the deck at whatever it may be, and it's not a big deal. You should have updated plan sets. And lots of people think, I can take my existing survey, make a photocopy, and draw what I want on top of it.
But that's a case by case too. We could tell them, no, this is what we need.
It is a case by case.
But with that new 1,000-pound rule, we're bound
We're
to
gonna
get
get
a
a lot
lot
of
of those little things
We
now, where
need-
people aren't gonna
We
come in
do
with these
need to
giant
talk to
plans
the board
just
about the
to.
1,000-pound
Yeah.
rule.
I thought someone said they didn't, they
I
were
did.
not changing it.
Oh, I did, but they didn't say one way or the other. I just told them, you might want to take a look and look at unintended consequences.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I think we're also getting a lot of people who are trying to do stuff without us knowing. The 1,000-pound rule is bringing a lot of people to surface.
That's what their intention of that rule was. You need a piece of equipment that big to move dirt around to make your 3-story house look like 2 stories. That was to prevent that. So, and they weren't thinking of the opposite, like a built-in pool. So you could qualify it not by your concern is valid, but you could say built-in pools are excluded. Now you don't have any of those coming. Do you know what I mean? So because in-ground pool,
We're gonna get every in-ground pool.
if that's the only thing you're doing, we don't need to see that.
Right.
And because all we're doing is saying, okay, we're looking at your picture, looks nice. Invite us over when it's done. Because we're not doing anything with it.
All right, real quickly, because I want to take advantage of the time. So this is the,
Historic.
this is, and Terry started all of this as well, so kudos to Terry.
I had a lot of kudos tonight. I don't know if I can take this.
I don't know either.
It's like,
I think I'm gonna
I will
go
make
on
the same-
vacation
you should have spread
now.
this out.
I'm gonna leave for a week and a half. See you later. Bye.
I will make the
What do you
same,
do for
so
Encore?
we really only need to go page through pages 1 through 3, because pages 4 through the end are essentially copies of what's in here. I'll mirror the changes I make in the first application, I'll make in the historic
Yep.
application, not a problem. And this is a more simplistic application because it's not necessarily site plan. It lists Terry took that from the code. We have property owner, same thing, applicant is different from property owner. This one is kind of nice because it puts property owner right up front and then lists that first.
Just put my
And actually, maybe I'll do that on the other
Yeah,
application.
this one
Because I
was
remember doing
not
this
made.
with them.
Instead of
I
applicant
remember
name,
doing
Yeah.
this was property owner.
Yeah,
And then is applicant different from property owner? That'll solve that.
That'll solve that easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the easy answer. See, Terry, look, you solved that problem without
Solved.
realizing you solved that problem.
Super easy.
So I'm just gonna change.
This is what has to be figured out.
yeah, yes, well,
Yeah. What we're-
schedules,
what
yeah.
that's for. And I feel like this $50 application
Property owner.
by the village board, but I couldn't swear to it.
I think it was too, I'm about to text
That'll
them.
solve that crisis.
Liz didn't get notification.
As long as you got the applicant
Yeah.
information somewhere else online.
Yeah, like on this one, it's right after it.
But I'll flip the property owner and applicant
Got it.
information.
Yeah.
So like, property owner, applicant, and then that'll knock that way down. And then this is applicant. I'll clarify that applicant. If the property owner is the same as the applicant, check here, and then applicant. So just swap applicant and property owner, and put the property owner first. I think that solves the crisis.
Yeah, it seems.
Yeah,
Owner.
owner,
Right, just swap those two.
yeah, effectively.
I wanna say it did,
I think they thought they were gonna do it, they thought they were gonna do it.
Yeah, but we-
Whatever got-
I think that solves that crisis. Okay, so anyway, I'll make the corresponding, changes. We do have to confirm whether the board approved the $50 fee for historic district. I think they did.
I think they
I think
did.
they did too, but I couldn't
And-
find anything.
Right now, we don't have an escrow set up, like, historic fee schedule has a default escrow for a lot of our applications, like a minimum, like this is your starting point, so we kind of have a target. And that's, we don't have that for historic applications. I don't know that you need to get a huge escrow on, the little ones, I don't think you need a huge escrow, big ones, we
It
can
would
do
depend
it.
what it is, I guess,
Yeah,
you
so how
know?
do we determine?
Maybe we
what
just leave it
the-
as set by planning board.
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
that's the way
as
to do
determined
it.
by the planning, you know, as determined.
So we take the application, which is the application fee,
Fee,
then
and then
decide.
That's
how
what I
much we
think the
it's
way-
gonna
If
be.
yeah.
it's a big, you know, like if it's a very sensitive project and you know you're gonna refer it up to the, architect
Yep.
person we've been working with, you're gonna call him and say, what's this gonna cost? He's gonna give you an estimate, and then you're gonna,
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think
we
we do it
did.
that way.
that's what we did for 208, where I went around, hey Ted, what do you think
Yeah, I
your
remember
review's
that.
gonna be? Natalie, what do you?
John, what do you think?
We went around to all the consultants, and then we said, okay, the escrow deposit's gonna be $25,000.
Right.
So that gives us some room, but on some of these, they're fairly minor, you know, and I don't have
A lot of them are
time,
gonna be minor.
you
Yeah.
know, so, that's fine. Does anybody have any comments on that?
No, I think it's great.
I
Okay.
got a question for you, Joe, Jeff. You know the retaining wall guy came in? Was that, did he need to come to us for that?
He needed,
Cause that's
he needed to come to us because he was in violation of the code.
of the £1,000 thing, where he didn't come to us.
That,
That's
and
why I
then
was here.
also on height of the
The retaining wall.
The Mexican restaurant?
Of the
you're talking
wall,
about?
No,
no.
this.
The guy that was just here, Purcell,
Well, that
9
was
Purcell.
that's a building, he didn't come to us because of the retaining wall, he came to us with 1,000. We just, as part of our review, said you needed a permit, because you can build a retaining wall under a certain height without engineering. But he exceeded that height, and he didn't get a permit.
Is there a quick reference for customers that Terry can say, you're doing this here, this is what you need? Like, you don't need to come to us for
So
this, that, and the
Jim
other.
sends them here and tells them what they need. Jim sends it to us, they do a determination with him, a letter of determination. Jim gets it, he's the first stop.
He is.
And
everything.
actually, I don't want, and this is gonna sound counterintuitive, I don't want Terry telling people what to do.
No.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you told me I didn't need to do that, and I needed to.
Yeah.
You don't
Leave
need
me
to
out
tell
of
you.
Right.
We told you just to start speaking in Polish. We don't have to.
Leave Terry out of that. Terry's answer is,
Not
have
complete.
questions, please contact the building department. Jim can issue a determination you need X, Y, Z. Jim is the official, is the legal official in charge of that. And then
No, she just says novel English.
She just says, application complete.
All right, so I'm gonna clean these two
That's
up.
it.
Here you go.
I will email them. Terry will get them up on the, website. I don't. We might send a letter, I'll double check with Elise Terhune in the morning. We might send a letter to the board saying, we've discussed, we've revised the application, please note our new amended application. I don't think it's such a.
We also need to know if they sent a letter to everyone in the historic district that there is
Feel like
such
that
an
never
application.
happened.
Because I never got one.
You can have that discussion with Neil.
Okay.
I think
I
that
did
they
have it
thought-
twice
I
before.
think they thought we were supposed to send it out.
No.
I feel
Not
like
our
I
job.
have, I feel like I have an email to that effect, that, they thought that the planning board. should
Yeah, but we don't do
sending
it.
it out because we are the historic review. That
Right.
Looks
was-
like you have enough to do.
But it's a code from the village board.
I believe that I have an email somewhere to that effect, so I don't think it ever got done.
All right. So everybody's happy with those forms?
Yes, very good.
So we will update
Very
those
clear.
forms.
Crystal.
Good stuff. So we need a motion to adjourn?
Second it.
Iannucci, Heffernaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No one.